In the last video, we showed you how and why social engineering is used to manipulate victims of compulsory schooling to pillage the plebes. This social engineering of course extends beyond school to media, NGOs, governments, corporations, and of course the individuals who will profit the most. But schooling is the prime starting point. Mold the mind here and you have perfect lifelong consumer sheeple. If you saw the last video, Schooling for Social Engineering, then you know this is just a fact. In order to try to counter this constant manipulation, you must stop and analyze what you are seeing and hearing. You must ask why. You must question the validity. Only then should you believe anything you are being told. Even now, I invite you to question anything I say. Find the truth. Don't just accept the consensus. The so-called consensus may not be true. Sometimes the truth may be hard to find. It can be pushed outside the bounds of an echo chamber that you've unwittingly been surrounded by. But think critically. Ask who's feeding you the information and why. Who does it benefit? Now, speaking of consensus, I want to briefly mention something that may not have been made clear in the last video. The brainwashed girl repeated some bumper sticker slogans as follows.
Lacey Green here. Welcome to D-News. Atop years and years of research, 100% of the most highly esteemed experts in the field have been telling us for a while that the consequences of climate change are real and need to be taken seriously. The higher concentration of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere is resulting in warmer temperatures, more drought, melting ice caps and rising sea levels, heavy rain and snow, heat waves, flash floods, and other extreme weather events.
Now, I don't blame this girl for being unable to critically think about what she's saying. This is what she's been taught to believe and how she's been taught to think without questioning. So, example number 1. She said 100% of scientists or experts, or even the 95% or vast majority that is normally claimed, agree about climate change. That never tell you who these people are or how this number was derived. They just say it, and people just believe it, because why would they say it if it weren't true? Those who question this statement are crazy, right? So 95% of experts. Okay, so in the last video I pictured this petition, which shows that 31,487 American scientists, including over 9,000 with PhDs, have signed a petition to reject the global warming agreement that was written in Kyoto, Japan in 1997, which states, the proposed limits on greenhouse gases would harm the environment, hinder the advance of science and technology, and damage the health and welfare of mankind. There is no convincing evidence or scientific evidence that human release of carbon dioxide, methane, or other greenhouse gases is causing or will, in the foreseeable future, cause catastrophic heating of the Earth's atmosphere and disruption of the Earth's climate. Moreover, there is a substantial scientific evidence that increases in atmospheric carbon dioxide produce many beneficial effects upon natural plant and animal environments of the Earth. Now remember, this is just American scientists, over 31,000, just on record mind you, that have signed this specific petition. There is no scientific consensus on quote-unquote man-made global warming. There is, however, a consensus in the cult of climate alarmists that try to scare you into believing these lies so that they can benefit off a dumbed-down public that will support their authoritarian ideas that will make them billions of dollars. And don't get me wrong, not everyone will profit from this scam. Some people are genuinely fooled into believing these lies because they haven't stepped back and examined this situation for what it is. Take this clown for example. I'm pretty sure he believes what he's saying because he worships the so-called science.
We'd be really remiss to say that we're preparing kids in science education and science literacy if they aren't aware of global warming and climate change and the science behind that. I think that it would be kind of educational malpractice to pretend that there's two sides to that scientific argument.
But Dre, why hasn't the news media ever talked about this petition? Well, I'm glad you asked. Money makes the world go round, everyone knows this. The world operates on markets. People can get filthy rich by taking advantage of this fact, and by taking advantage of the people who they need to enable the growth of their wealth. No one gets rich on their own. They need consumers to participate. What's the best way to take advantage of consumers? create the maximum potential amount of consumers by manipulation. Easy. In the future, I'd like to discuss the spiritual aspect of this, but the world is complicated. Don't get trapped in a false echo chamber, and don't get trapped in your limited mind like this guy. In the last video, I also showed an image from CFRmedia.com. The website states, largely unbeknownst to the general public, executives and top journalists of almost all major U.S. outlets have long been members of the influential Council on Foreign Relations, CFR. Established in 1921 as a private bipartisan organization to, quote, awaken America to its worldwide responsibilities, unquote, the CFR and its close to 5,000 elite members for decades have shaped U.S. foreign policy and public discourse about it. As a well-known Council 4 member famously explained, they transformed the American Republic into a global empire, albeit a benevolent one. Based on official membership rosters, the following illustration depicts for the first time the extensive media network of the CFR and its two major international affiliate organizations, the Bilderberg Group, mainly covering the US and Europe, and the Trilateral Commission, covering North America, Europe, and East Asia, both established by council leaders to foster elite cooperation at a global level. In a column entitled Ruling Class Journalists, former Washington Post senior editor and ombudsman Richard Harwood described the council as its members approvingly as the nearest thing we have to a ruling establishment in the United States. Harwood continued, the membership of these journalists in the council, however they may think of themselves, is acknowledgement of their active and important role in public affairs and of their ascension into the American ruling class. They do not merely analyze and interpret foreign policy for the United States, they help make it. They are part of that establishment whether they like it or not, sharing most of its values and worldviews. However, media personalities constitute only about 5% of the overall CFR network. Now, this is very important to understand the way the media operates and the way the world works. If you don't understand this, you're not going to understand how this so-called conspiracy could exist to manipulate you through the media. In the future, I probably will do some videos on the CFR because this, like I said, is very important to understand. Until next time, thanks for watching and God bless.
My millennials, stay woke!